Hello, and welcome to a very special edition of We the Sweet. Today we're going to be learning about chocolate. I'm Chef Leanne, and I've been a brand specialist for Berry Callebaut for over 10 years. Berry Callebaut is the world's largest chocolate manufacturer. In my time with BC, I've encountered so many misconceptions and confusion about chocolate. So, let's talk chocolate shop, shall we? Where does chocolate even come from? Well, chocolate grows on trees. I wished money grew on trees, but hey, chocolate grows on trees. They're called Theobroma trees to be exact, and they only grow 10 degrees north or south of the equator. Now that's a very thin band where conditions are suitable for chocolate trees to grow. Now think about that. Chocolate is a very rare and precious commodity, not to be taken for granted. So these trees grow in rural areas of countries like Africa, Ecuador, and Brazil, and other beautiful exotic countries like that. Cocoa farmers harvest the cocoa pods from the tree. I have a freeze-dried cocoa pod. Even the beans on the inside are freeze-dried. So once the pods are harvested, the pod is cut open and the silky white beans are removed. Then the beans are laid out and dried and fermented in the sun. Now here's a really fun fact that kind of blew my mind when I discovered it. Oftentimes, cocoa plantations are growing next to other like fruit or tobacco farms. So depending on what's growing near the cocoa farm will determine what the flavor profile will be in the end result chocolate that we make. So sometimes the chocolate will have really pronounced banana or even tobacco flavor. Those are not flavors that we added, but flavors that the beans naturally inherited from the soil it's grown in. So I'm sure you may have noticed that chocolate can be pricey, but it's totally worth it. Chocolate is very similar to wine in the sense that there are blends versus wines made with a single grape variety. Ooh la la. What? So in the chocolate world, the price range is mostly determined by rareness and availability of the bean. I say mostly because the quality of the bean and the amount of cocoa butter it uses is also a factor in the price tag. Rare plantation chocolates. This means that chocolate is made with beans that come from only one single plantation, making the beans very rare because there's less of them. Single origin chocolate. This means that the chocolate is made with beans from a specific region or country. For example, champagne can only be from Champagne, France. And Texas pecans can only be from where? That's right, Texas. You're catching on. So single origin chocolates are not quite as rare as a plantation chocolate, but still definitely considered quote unquote a fine wine of the chocolate world. And then there are blends. These are chocolates that are made with a mix of beans from several different plantations. Blends are less expensive than a plantation or an origin chocolate, but by no means does this mean that the quality is lower. It just means that there are more beans available to make the chocolate with. Alright, so the fermented beans are roasted until the shell cracks and is removed. What's revealed is the cocoa nib. The nib is chocolate in its purest state. Crunchy little bits that are ground into liqueur that can be further processed into cocoa butter or cocoa powder. So from those lovely little cocoa beans, we can get 4 chocolatey products that we use in everyday applications. Nibs, cocoa liqueur, cocoa butter, and cocoa powder. Now that we know the whole chocolate origin story, we can start talking about the chocolate that we all know and love. Good old milk dark white, and now ruby chocolate. There are a few key ingredients in the sweetened chocolate that we like to eat. Cocoa liqueur, also referred to as cocoa mass, cocoa butter, and of course, sugar. Can I just bring up cocoa percentage here for a second, because I see a lot of confusion with this topic. And there's also terms like bittersweet and semi-sweet out there floating around, causing a lot of misconception too. The cocoa percentage does not determine how bitter or sweet the chocolate will taste. The cocoa percentage is simply telling us how much cocoa liqueur is in the chocolate. Some chocolates have a really high cocoa percentage, but also a really high sugar percentage. And so that chocolate's pretty much gonna taste nice and sweet. So don't knock it till you try it. The only way to know for sure how bitter or how sweet your chocolate's gonna be is if you take a bite. The cocoa percentage also allows us to determine how we will classify the chocolate. Speaking of chocolate classifications, we now have a new one, and it's called Ruby. So Ruby cocoa beans are grown and processed pretty much like the other ones, but the main difference is that the beans on the inside of the pod are actually pink in color. Barry Callebaut innovated a proprietary process that results in preserving the natural pink color and fruity flavor. And now the world can enjoy a new classification of chocolate. Well, we have spent enough time talking about cocoa percentage. Now let's shift our focus over to cocoa butter. Cocoa butter is the fat that is found naturally in the cocoa bean and then extracted. Again, it's one of the key ingredients in chocolate. The cocoa butter percentage varies in each chocolate just like the cocoa percentage does. The cocoa butter percentage has nothing to do with the flavor or the bitterness. It has everything to do with its workability. The higher the cocoa butter percentage, the more fluid the chocolate will be. So to put it simply, chocolates with a low cocoa butter percentage are best for baking and making ice creams, whereas the chocolates with a high cocoa butter percentage are best for velvety mousse and shiny bonbons. The cocoa butter percentage isn't going to be labeled on your everyday grocery store bars, but if you're an industry professional, you're buying wholesale chocolates from manufacturers such as Barry Callebaut. So we developed a very reader-friendly drop count system that's clearly listed on all of our packaging. One drop being the lowest fluidity and 5 drops being the highest fluidity. The drop counts lets the industry professionals know what the workability is going to be like so they can make an informed purchase. Just check the bag, right? You'll be able to see the percentage and the drop count. This brings me to my next topic, Couverture. Couverture is a chocolate with a high cocoa butter percentage, at least 32% cocoa butter to be exact. So any of our chocolates with a 3 to 5 drop count is considered a Couverture. All of the lovely cocoa butter, I like to call it liquid gold, gives the chocolate an upgrade by making it more fluid and shinier. It also creates a better snap when it sets. And my favorite, it gives it that luxurious, velvety mouthfeel. And if you haven't experienced that velvety mouthfeel, then you're not eating good chocolate. Sorry. So, if you're enjoying a rare, plantation couverture, you paid some money, but that's like equivalent to caviar and black truffles and framboise, you know, vintage wine. It's like some top shelf, finest of the fine chocolate, so congratulations to you. Savor it. Thanks for talking about chocolate with me today. I hope I was able to give you a better understanding of chocolate. If there's something about chocolate that you've ever been curious about or even confused, by all means let me know. I could talk about chocolate all day. It's my favorite.